Chloe's Torah portion is the basis for the sanctuary we are in right now, from the colors to the construction, perfect for an architect's daughter. It's actually a double Torah portion covering chapter 35 of Exodus through the end of the book of Exodus in chapter 40. Now don't worry, we're not going to read all and chant all hundreds of verses. We'll be here till dinner. Chloe has chosen verses in chapter 35 which speak to her. My goal in these few minutes is to set the stage that Chloe will fill in. Just before Moses calls the congregation of Israel, the children of Israel, the original name of this temple, together, hence the name Vayakhel, which means he assembled the congregation. He asked for designers, artisans, and every man, woman, and child to contribute whatever they could to build the sanctuary to house the ark. Well, just before that, you'll recall that Moses came down Mount Sinai with the Ten Commandments, and the Torah says that when Moses came down, he had a glow on his face. What was this glow? This Karen, as in the name Karen. We're told that this glow was the radiance of God that clinged, that stuck to Moses' face after he received the Torah that Chloe will be receiving from Rabbi Bowman and her family in a few minutes. But how could that happen? I just put one of those cling-free sheets, you know what I'm talking about, in the dryer so that the socks wouldn't clump together. We all know what that is. Did God's radiance stick to Moses' face? Was it like my daughters who, when they were younger, used to have sparkles, when you got close to them on their face? It was actually more like that, according to the early rabbis. Our Jewish ancestors tell us that the radiance was due to the fact, get this, that Moses had accidentally brushed his forehead with some of, and the Hebrew phrase is, the ink of heaven used to write the Torah. I find that strange phrase, the ink of heaven, to be a wonderful expression. Chloe has been brushed with the ink of heaven, not only from her positive Jewish experiences here at Temple, last summer at Jacob's Camp, the mitzvahs which have brushed her with the ink of heaven. She's also been brushed with the ink of heaven from those closest to her, you family and friends, as all of us have here today, whether we're here to celebrate a bat mitzvah, whether we're here to remember a loved one who has touched our soul with kindness, compassion, love, goodness, the ink of heaven. This is also the Sabbath when we end the book of Exodus, Shemot, and prepare for the third book of the Torah, Vayikra, known as Leviticus. So this is the week. This week itself is a bridge between the books of Torah, just as Chloe is a bridge between the books of her family story, between the generations who have come before her and who will come after her. To give you the cliff notes, or what do they call it, spark notes now, on what comes after the important verses Chloe has chosen to chant and talk about. After Moses is brushed with this ink of heaven, he needs to think about how to construct and design the tabernacle to house the Ten Commandments. So he calls Brian Bullard at Urban Architects. Actually, he couldn't. This was over 3,000 years ago. So Brian wasn't available. Instead, he appoints Bitzalel and Oholiab, skilled craftsmen, to oversee the sanctuary. Don't lose me. This name, Bitzalel, is the lead designer, and his name is symbolic. Guess what it means? In the shadow of God. That creative people live in the shadow of God. The ink of heaven refers to Chloe. The shadow of God, Bitzalel, refers to bat mitzvah girls like her, who upon reaching this next stage in her Jewish life are charged with designing and carrying forward the sanctuary of Judaism for her generation and those yet to come. The question Bitzalel faces the same one not only Chloe, but each one of us face today. How can I operate my life as if I were living in the shadow of God? Now, he was imbued with an artistic spirit. Each child enters the world with a special gift and blessing, and our job as family and as a congregational family is to discover every son and daughter's gift and celebrate whatever that unique gift and blessing is, so that when we become the blessings we were meant to be, we leave a legacy to our family, to the Jewish people, and to all people. So now it's time, my friends, to reenact that moment when our ancestors first received this gift, this supremely special, priceless, incredible legacy, the gift of Torah.